twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move. Trying to get the shot on. He holds. He shoots. He scores! Absolutely.
The pitch. High fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
We live?
Yeah.
All right, folks, this is a live TV show. Welcome to Pittsburgh Sportsline live in the BP TV studios right here in the municipal building. We have some confusion because the sick Smoking Jim Frazier returns. Lazarus is here. He cannot find his mic.
Josh, can you help him find his mic?
So we'll have trouble. We're going to have Josh, one of the volunteers, help him out. He's only been here a couple weeks, and he has to help Smoking Jim Frazier. Thank you for all of you watching us on Wow, he found it instantly.
No, he didn't.
No.
There's no mic attached.
There's no mic.
That's okay. Jim doesn't need one.
We don't need.
They
We'll
can
let
hear
him.
him across the street.
We'll let him
anyhow.
rest up. He's worn out from all his sponge baths and observing pretty nurses. We don't know what's wrong with him, but Lazarus is back here. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and all the way from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, and greater Pittsburgh area. So thank you for that. Thanks for the Facebook likes. We went back up to 6,956, highest we've been. There's a disclaimer for Smoking Jim. He blurted out something that doesn't apply. He's a great Pittsburgh guy he talked about from the Hill District, and Smoking Jim brought it up on a sports show. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Nick Callis is back.
Hey.
Smoking Jim Frazier, we're not sure what capacity he's here. I think he had an aneurysm, and I don't know where it is, but I did boxing with him. He didn't eat or drink anything, so I think they made him into a robot. And we got Chip Hayner here. And we thank all of you for watching it, and we'll get to some promos right now. Let's just start right in. Nick got me set up.
Don't eat that.
What's he doing?
He tried to eat his microphone.
Well, I told you.
Smoke it on your other side. Clip it to your other side. There you go.
Let me explain. He's now a robot.
No, the other side of the jacket.
Your right arm. Put it at your right arm.
Your other right.
You're talking this way.
Sorry, folks. Somebody get a close-up on Smoking Jim.
So he was
Corey,
looking
can you get a picture of Smoking Jim? This is hilarious. And Josh, just wait for me. Go to Corey. Why didn't somebody go to Corey?
No, they are.
Smoking Jim. I'm not seeing it.
Here, look. Look.
Oh, okay. Folks, for all of you that have been watching us for almost 11 years, I appreciate the logo that A1 Anthony created. And Smoking Jim's been with me since it was founded October 11th, 2011. And he's done over 1,000 shows with other people, almost 700 with me, because he said he'd never miss unless he was dying. He died 22 times. And he just came back from one of them. I've never heard of somebody being in the hospital for a vacation.
It's amazing the power of a sponge bath.
Chip, you're spot on. No, I appreciate it. All right, we'll go to me and the promos. We got Corey on the camera here. We'll get a close-up of Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Let's see what he does. Look at that close-up. It looks great. Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors our show with an XL pepperoni pizza, steak hoagie, and Anthony had to pick it up. I was doing a talking machine show with a great band called Crash Army. They're in the running for going to the Hollywood Bowl in September or in October to play. They're number 5. So if you find out how to vote for the Holiday Bowl, vote for Crash Army. I'm promoting them on my show. Just did it before. They played 2 great songs. Corey, Mike, and Josh are great. They came in. I gave them a slice of Olive Oil's Pizzeria, and they go to Homestead, Penn Hills, and Uniontown. So they're spreading around through the area. They're a great group of guys. Corey was in the Army for 4 years, a veteran. Thank him for his service, and vote for Crash Army. All right, Olive Oil's Pizzeria, great Italian food, great pizza, hoagie, salads, pasta, you name it, desserts. Frank Fanera, the owner, sponsors our show. We appreciate him. And you can go to Hillcrest Shopping Center, give him a call, 412-831-1900. All right, we'll see what Corey does on this one. All right, little pause. We'll get this, look at that close up. Joey Fabus. Poor Joey died of DIPG, a deadly brain cancer at 8 years old. And his family, that's the second child they lost. Terrible to lose him. It's been 8 years. They started the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. It's a 501c3. You can donate $1, whatever you can afford, $2, $10, even work for them and help them out. They have their largest fundraiser September 18th, excuse me, at 9 a.m. We'll be filming that, and I'll be interviewing the superheroes. It's only a $25 donation for adults to race, and it's a great way to help find a cure. Their doctor they're on the pathway to a cure, to cure DIPG at Children's Hospital. So check that out, Dr. Gary. And we'll have further updates from him until the 18th. And hope to see you out there at the Joey Fabus Superhero 5K 1 mile run. Next up, I won't play my video. All right, little technical difficulties. Thanks, Corey. That's a great shot, close-up shot of the Bethel Park Historical Society's Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, a 1905 original high school in Bethel Park, 2600 South Park Road. Red and white trolley is right there. You can't miss it. It's been totally remodeled from top to bottom. Even has a old flagpole with a new flag, and they have different activities they do there. They have a library. They got military uniforms and all kinds of good stuff in there. They do events. They've done graduations, weddings, parties. They got Wi-Fi for Smoking Jim. They got Reginald's Coffee. They have Wi-Fi, and they have roasted coffee from around the world with a roaster right in their shop. And their coffee is better, from all my friends that drink coffee, which I don't know. Hundreds of friends have told me, go there for their coffee. It's great. They're being remodeled right now, so I'm not sure when they have their reopening. But check it out. They love their coffee, and I like my green tea there. I'll stay with that. All right, Corey's at the rescue again. Thanks, Nick. What a shot. Great shot, great close-up. First, I want to say thanks to Amy from Giant Eagle. She said, welcome back, Nick and Smoking Jim. Amy, we don't know if he feels better, because he always feels great, whether he's near death or whether he's walking in, stumbling into the studio in the wrong door. and that's the truth, Fax. I'm not picking on him. I'm just telling it how I see it. And then Chief says, Smoking Jim looks strong. Chief, I know you wear glasses. I think you need an appointment.
Ouch.
Johnny Mariano, hey, Al Levine, the talking machine. How much is my autographed photo of Smoking Jim Frazier worth?
That's my man.
Well, he had a Bitcoin that he thinks he had like Tom Brady, and Tom Brady lost $36,000. So now you owe Smoking Jim some money because it lost all its value. But we appreciate that. And Amy, we talk about sports, so we know what the Steelers did in their game. But thank you. I appreciate it. Always be smiling. The B stands for Bennett. He was a handicapped child that had 2 kidney transplants. His dad, Dean, gave him the last one. He lived to 16 and a half, and he died from complications, but he always had a smile. Look at his smile and happy face. He never gave up, never quit. And his parents, out of respect, they call it Always Be Smiling to honor Bennett. And they have events and fundraisers. They're a 501c3, and they gather money to help families that have kidney transplants for their children. And they pay for their visits, hospitalization, whatever they could. Just check their different events out. Thanks to everybody that liked their page like I did and brought it up over 1,200 likes. It's getting them good publicity, and it's helping them with their fundraisers they do along the Montour Trail and other localities around Pittsburgh. So check out Always Be Smiling. Next up, we'll see what Corey can get on this one. I heard Anthony in the control room. He said, Corey's on the money. Guess what he is? Look at that shot. That's Uncle Sam with my smiling face on it. I want you for BPTV. You can work here and be a volunteer. You can learn. Look, we got Josh Fabus, the newest rookie. We got Corey here. He's been here a little bit longer than Josh. We got Nick, been here 2 years. We got Anthony. We don't have A2 anymore, but Anthony's been here 2+ years. And he did that great 10-year logo.
No more A2?
Smoking Jim, because of you, they stopped coming.
Oh.
When you didn't show up,
geez.
they thought that's the program. We don't come anymore. They were only here for you. They're done. But getting back to BPTV.
So no more Corvette, no more Harley.
Yeah, you can join BPTV and work with Dave Cable, the director. He helps teach you how to run TV shows and do the video, audio. And they even did a show with me, the Talking Machine show with a band, Crash Army, right before the show. We were out there right up at the front of the library with the memorials, and all the names up there from the veterans. Corey, the lead singer, is a veteran, and he calls it Crash Army to honor his dead brother. So that's all good stuff. But you can actually film this stuff. You can even do shows. You could even be on air with me. Look how Nick somehow maneuvered his way in when Smoking Jim had one of his, I don't know what you call it, episodes.
There you go.
Episodes where we're going to let him talk eventually if they found a mic for him. But
Nepotism. That's why I'm on this side of the desk.
I understand. Yeah. I appreciate
Yeah.
the son I didn't know about. So I appreciate that. All right. See you at BPTV, 412-831-3304. All right. Let's see what Corey does on this one. We're good. Let's see what happens here. Great shot with Kathleen Miller. She has kidney disease like I did. She was at 17, couldn't get a transplant, but as you drop down to 15, she needs a transplant, so she did this flyer for over a year. She has somebody that will donate when she needs surgery. And they tell you when you get down to 15 like I was, my son was a donor, a living donor. She has a living donor lined up. So we'll find out when she gets her transplant. Prayers for Kathleen. Next up, there we go. So far, so good with Corey. Look at that close-up. Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for Bethel Park groups, organizations, grant money from $100 to $5,000 for the activities you're doing to make Bethel Park a better community. So just check it out. Go to bpcf.org, get an application. I'm one of the trustees on the board. We've donated over $1 million during 26 years, and we give money out each year. So maybe your group or organization can get money to make Bethel Park a better community. We appreciate all of you. All right, we got to do What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Look what he got. Look what he got.
Levine, the talking machine, and if you want the green,
Okay.
you got to see Levine. Oh,
I tested him. How did I do?
Keontae Johnson.
That 19 million weighed me down. But I tell you what,
Let me see it. Let me see it.
I tell you what, Levine, the talking machine.
Yes.
Let's get in, and I learned this from Nick. I learned a lot from Nick. It's time that we should forget about the past and look forward to the future. The Pittsburgh Steelers want a statue. Why not make it the greatest player in Steeler history, T.J. Watt? I'm all for that. And our Pittsburgh Pirates on pace for 99 losses. I tell you what, every little improvement is worth noting. Levine, the talking machine.
I got to make the first disclaimer. Now, I'm not sure how damaged he was brain-wise in the hospital, but he always said T.J. Watt was the greatest player when he got drafted. So somehow he's like Nostradamus, who he doesn't even know who I'm talking about. And he made a prediction, and it came true. But as far as the statue, just keep an Art Rooney statue there since he's the founder. What the heck? Just like call the stadium Rooney Stadium so you don't have to cry about it, and we lost Hines. And as far as all your things there, buddy, these are his own opinions, and whatever he says that doesn't make sense to you, just laugh like we do.
Well, I'm going to be real quick. I'm going to break this up
Good.
into 2 segments.
Okay, that's enough. Go to Chip.
I listened to the show last week. It was an excellent show, especially when my man, the VIP, came in for his 6 minutes that was strong. And I agree with the Barry Bonds. Listen, Chip got on me a little bit for Omar Khan. And I agree with Chip and Levine, the talking machine, that the Steelers and Omar did a good job signing Fitzpatrick. Boswell would not have given Deontay Johnson $19 million. I said Omar should be a VP because he has no general manager experience or background. He's never hired a head coach. He's never developed a scouting or personnel department. Steelers never had a GM before. The greatest in the history of the Steelers was Dick Haley. He was director of player personnel. Tom Donahoe, another great one, director of player personnel. Kevin Colbert hired as director of player personnel, promoted the general manager, being the first in the history. Omar Khan, who's the best capologist in the NFL, he threatened to leave if not promoted to vice president, which would be a huge pay raise. The Steelers promoted him and then hired an assistant general manager to do the job. Again, I've never given the Pittsburgh Steelers team since 1972 a grade below an A or a B. I gave individual draft classes grades. And when I come back, I will talk about how I could give a grade of a D of a class that has T.J. Watt. I'm coming after Chip again. And that's what's all.
I gotta do a major disclaimer here, and it's on a personal note. I've been listening to Smokin' Jim for 11 years. And Smokin' Jim, did you ever draft anybody individually and get them on a team? No, who did you draft? No, I'm asking straight questions.
Yeah.
Did you ever work for the Steelers?
I drafted Ike Taylor.
Did you ever work for the answer a question?
And I drafted
Okay.
Antonio Brown in 2010.
Now, did you get paid by the Steelers or did you just eat steak?
I got paid.
Okay, well then you worked for them. Now,
No, I'm independent.
okay, well I can't get a straight answer from my friend. Omar Khan worked for the Steelers.
Smokin', hold your mic in response. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we're getting no replies from you. So Omar Khan gets paid by the Steelers to do a job.
Okay.
Hasn't he done a job? Do you know what job he had?
He's one of the best at what he does.
Okay, I have to ask you this question. When you sign a contract with people and negotiate, would you know that they played football?
What?
Good answer. Good answer.
That's why I question everything he says. Let me make it very simple. Read my lips. Would you know that the people he signed the contracts played football?
You know the Steelers is a big organization. They got accountants, they got financial
Friends,
people. They got
I don't want to
scouts.
debate.
He doesn't answer questions.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say this, and we'll go on to
He
Chip.
follows somebody
The
else's
Pittsburgh
playbook.
Steelers, in their history, never had a quarterback coach. until they tried to promote Mike Mularkey. He says, I can't coach quarterbacks, but I can be an offensive coordinator if you hire me a quarterback coach. And the Steelers ever since had a quarterback coach.
You went off the subject. You're so far gone. I asked about somebody you were disrespectful to called Omar Khan.
I didn't disrespect him.
Yes,
I said
you did.
He's not a general manager, and he's not.
Well, neither are you. So how would you grade him as a general manager, and you couldn't answer whether he knows that they play football?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Here's what I'm talking about. He signs a contract with football players. Does he know that they play football?
They tell Omar Khan this.
Wait,
no,
stop.
let me finish. Let me just try to answer your question.
You're not.
For 20 years, they told Omar Khan, and he started at New Orleans and did a great job there. They says, listen, we got $50 million. These are the 4 players we need to sign, plus we need this much left over. Find it for us, and that's what he does, and he does it better than anybody in the NFL.
Let me make this.
He can't be a general manager, so the first time in their history, they signed an assistant general manager to do the job of a general manager.
I know your points are different than mine. Like if you coach football players, do you know they play football?
I was coming after Chip. You want me to come after you too?
Yeah.
He's spicy with the mic. Put a mic in his hand.
We're gonna go another minute or two. You played football. Is that a yes or no? Did you have football coaches? What sport did they coach you in?
Football.
Okay. What sport does Omar Khan work for?
I spent a lot of time in the club in the tub.
Woo!
Smoking Jim. To all your fans out there, I think he dropped a notch or two. No offense, he's my best friend, but his mental activity is like 0 or negative.
You said I had an aneurysm.
You don't even know what it is. You don't know what it is. My man, I just asked a simple question. Again, Omar Khan works for who?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
What are they? What kind of team are they?
The football team.
Do employees know about football being played for the Steelers?
Yes, sir.
Omar Khan is an employer of the Steelers.
Yes, sir.
When he signed contracts, who was it with?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
And what players was it signed with? Players from the team?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, so he was doing contracts for football Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
And you're saying he didn't know that they were football players?
I wasn't saying that exactly.
Okay, but he would have to know they're football players. And do people keep stats of players like you do and talk about how they perform?
Maybe.
That's not a good question to answer like that, but it's like yes or no. No would be good in your book because he doesn't know anything about football or players, according to you. So what I'm saying is the Steelers are a multi-billion-dollar company. They hire a guy to divide $50 million up among football players. Now, I went to school and I learned different subjects, so they applied to my life, like history, sports, geography, what city I'm in. It didn't apply to you, so he knows things about football. That's why he got the job. Whether he got the right job or he's qualified for it, is every coach a good coach? Okay, sometimes you have bad coaches, bad owners, bad players. Sometimes you have the opposite, the greatest player,
And if you're the
T.J.
Pittsburgh
Watt.
Steelers, you hire Hall of Fame coaches.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So I was just trying to get Smoking Jim back to see if he knows sports. And I'm at the point that he's at about 2%, and I go by 100%. Like Chip knows sports, Nick knows sports, I know sports, and he's not Bo. Bo don't know everything here. So we're going to move on from this. So thank you, Smoking Jim. We can't wait for your next entertaining segment. This was entertaining, and I hate to dumb things down like that, but I had to. That's my excuse. Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Well, thank you, Alan, and good evening, everybody. And I'm going to go kind of like all over the place with what's on my mind. So if you folks
Carry on. It'll fit right
if you
in.
folks will bear with me and don't interrupt me, I'm going to start with the guy that's coming at me first, okay? Because I love him like a brother, okay? First off, to comment on the Pittsburgh Pirates inaugural Hall of Fame class. And I find it laughable that people seem to think that it's a joke that Barry Bonds was not elected in the inaugural class. Let's understand something about Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds may have been one of the greatest players of his generation. Okay? No doubt about it. Okay? And he was an excellent Pittsburgh Pirate. Is he deserving of being in the inaugural Hall of Fame class? And I very strongly say no. And here's the reason why. I'll give you a real classic example of how good of a teammate he was. Let's go back to the last game he played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's the bottom of the ninth inning, the National League Championship Series against the Atlanta Braves. Pirates are in the field. Barry Bonds is playing left field, playing kind of deep. Andy Van Slyke's playing a little bit more shallow in center field. He motions to Barry Bonds before the final batter gets up to move in. Barry Bonds takes his glove, puts it up like this, and flips him the bird and doesn't move. The batter, which is a weak hitter, hits the ball that bounces 2 or 3 times in front of Bonds, who then has to rush in and pick up the ball and not be able to throw out the slowest runner in baseball, Sid Bream. Had he listened to his teammate and positioned himself closer to home plate, he would have thrown Sid Bream out, and who knows, that Pirate team may have won a world championship. So if that is the kind of person that is deserving of being in your inaugural Hall of Fame, then I guess I'm confused. First off the list. Second, 2 weeks ago, Rob Manfred made another one of his huge mistakes, which he seems to be quite adept at doing. He decided that it was a good idea to let Pete Rose come to Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia to honor the 1980 Philadelphia Phillies World Series team. Now, Pete Rose has been banned from baseball, and this was a banishment from baseball that he agreed to and he signed off on. So he comes into the park. A sports reporter who happens to be a female takes the opportunity to question Pete Rose about the sexual relationship he had with a 14-year-old girl in the mid-70s while he was married. And Pete Rose's comment to her was, "That happened 55 years ago, babe," and walked away from her. A real class act. Then he gets on the air during the Phillies broadcast that had no dump button and starts describing a play in which he was involved. And instead of saying that the pitcher threw him a waist-high fastball, he used another term to describe a man's piece of anatomy on live air, and then followed that up by saying the more colorful determination of the word poop on the air.
It begins with an S and ends with a T.
This is the kind of piece of warm fecal matter that Pete Rose is, besides being a degenerate gambler, and it's proof positive why he should never be reinstated to baseball. and so there's that. Next up, Steelers, 20-0. They're going to the Super Bowl. Okay, they're going to make the Miami Dolphins not be able to pop the cork on the champagne, the 72 Dolphins. However, my observations of the game, I think the quarterback play from the Pittsburgh Steelers on Saturday night was adequate. It was good enough to win the game. I would have to say that I wouldn't say that there's one person that stands out as a favorite. Some things I saw that bothered me. Kind of a repeat of last year. Everybody's bowing down and shouting the praises of Kenny Pickett. Woo! He's the next franchise quarterback. Well, I want somebody to go back through history and tell me how many franchise quarterbacks were drafted that from the 20th pick on back in the draft. Not too many. Franchise quarterbacks are usually taken the first or second pick. Kenny Pickett may end up being a good quarterback. Here's the problem that I had with him. Didn't throw a pass further than 7 yards, okay? 13 completions, 95 yards. So he averaged 7 yards a pass, and this is against what Bob Pompiani refers to as the future bartenders of America against the Seattle Seahawks team that, if they're lucky, will win 4 games this year. So, I'm encouraged by what I saw out of the Pittsburgh Steelers on Saturday night. Most of their starters didn't play, and I really expect the Steelers to have a dominant defense. And who's going to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't care. The only thing I care about is whether the Steelers win or lose. Whether it's Mason Rudolph or Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, God bless them all. As long as they win football games, I don't care who it is. That's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Chip. My friend Jim Ellenbogen said, Tom Donahue, also the grandson of former Mayor and Governor David L. Lawrence.
That's right.
Smoking Jim doesn't know who David L. Lawrence is.
Wait, is that the same guy that Bill Cowher ran out of here?
No. Yes. And Jim Ellenbogen said, in honor of me, it's a wild-caught moment. Then he has another thing for Smoking Jim. He goes, ask Smoking Jim about a honey, or as I call him, sweetie. He goes, that's what his expertise is.
Thank you, sir.
Ralph, hello to Ralph. He
My
said,
man, that's my man.
He said, Amy, the reason the Pirates are losing is Mitch Keller, who's a good pitcher, is pitching. So thanks, Ralph, for your insight. We appreciate you interacting with the other fans of our show. And when I get to see the comments, I had some technical difficulties, so I didn't get to see it. But let's ask Nick Callis, since he was gone a week, what's on your mind?
Also a lot. So
Whoa.
So-
Okay, carry on.
So doing some statistics work with the Pirates, doing shows on the Fan over the week, or the weekend, I should say. Well, actually, I did them all last week too. Found out that the Pirates are the 3rd worst at striking out in Major League Baseball, which is cool because maybe that's okay. Maybe they're producing runs, but they're not doing that either. They're like the bottom 7 of teams in run production and home run hitting this year. So it's like, again, it's like,
Oh, what's their home runs? Be specific.
they're like 105 as a team.
How low is that?
That's like 5th
Okay.
worst.
So I just want to understand it in my old mind at 66. So they say you get a lot of strikeouts because you're hitting homers or trying.
Yeah.
Are we trying to do either one?
I don't know, and that's just my question. That's
Just
what's on
my
mind.
question.
I'm just kind of like, okay, well they're not doing either one. So like, cool. Are they just a bad team? Sure. And I try to make sure that I observe other teams around Major League Baseball, just to, again, figure out, are we fixing the game or are we fixing the Pirates?
Have
Which
you
one
watched
is-
the Yankees and Judge?
I have,
Okay.
and that's exciting. But the thing is, too, it's like, it's one thing to be a Pirate fan and go to the games and enjoy the atmosphere at Pittsburgh. It's another thing to sit in a hot booth for 4 hours covering the game yourself. When you got to do that, you really start to figure out what the Pirates are all about, right? Like going to PNC Park and celebrating and stuff because it's great. That's fine. But again, hot box for 4 hours. I really get intimate with the Pirates.
Are you getting paid to do this?
I am, but it's a rough time. And when you're watching and analyzing and figure out what the heck's going on with the team, and then you're looking up statistics, trying to put on a show, you really get intimate with the team. So that's all I'm saying. They're not great right now, and they're not producing runs, and that's part of the reason why they're not winning games. So that's number one. Number two is Kenny Pickett is great. Maybe. Who knows? I'm kind of with the whole I don't care who's a quarterback thing. I really want it to be Pickett because I think that Pickett's going to be the best option. I think he's going to be a franchise quarterback. But that's not what's going to happen this season. Nobody should have booed Mason Rudolph because, if he's the best option, then, great. Why not let him out there? But, yeah, he got booed before he started playing. So, that's a little bit shameful. Acrisure Stadium, I swore I'd never say that on this air, but now I kind of have to. I'm getting in
You broke your
I'm getting
word.
in the habit of it. Those people there, not good people for that. So don't do that anymore. If he's the best, if he plays well, let him play the quarterback position. Number three, Deshaun Watson did an interview with one of our insiders at Didi Kinkubala, and the man apologized. He backpedaled a little bit, said, I make mistakes as a human being, so I'm just trying to move on and get better. Well, that's great. But what I perceive in life is that sometimes mistakes are bigger than other ones. And I like Pete Rose's analogy over there because if you say bad words on the air, you get fined and then you get fired. because the FCC will fine you like tens of thousands of dollars. So, like, again, some mistakes are bigger than others. That's an analogy. I don't know if that station got fined, but it was very possible they could have. So the same thing with Deshaun Watson. If you mess with women in the wrong way, that's a bigger mistake. That deserves a bigger punishment. You can grow from it. You can learn from it. It doesn't mean you're going to get to play football. It doesn't mean that you're going to avoid fines or potential jail time. So, like, it's great that you apologized, but some mistakes are bigger than others. So
Well,
keep
he
that in
paid
mind.
him off, too.
I get that.
No, but that means something important
Do
because
you
they
think
couldn't
his
testify
apology
against him.
was disingenuous? Is that what you're
I
trying
don't,
to say?
but I'm also just saying, like, I'm
Because
not.
2 weeks ago he was saying he didn't do anything wrong.
That's my point, Chip. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I believe him either way, but whether he was genuine or not, some mistakes are bigger than others. So,
Yeah,
like,
but here's the other thing. He got a bogus type contract where he got paid $1 million and some of it up front. And lo and behold, how do you pay women off so then they can't testify? That's the question I have
I know.
for you.
I hold the ground that not every settlement that exists in courts have to do with silencing people or getting out the easy way.
Well, here's the
so
question.
I don't want to generalize that point.
Here's
do
why.
I think that do I think that Deshaun Watson paid off those women because he's innocent? Not really. I think he did take the easiest road to get back to the NFL because the less cases he has to deal with a verdict, the better he looks, because settlements really don't admit fault. They're just to make court proceedings go better. So don't generalize that every settlement. Don't generalize that pleading to the fifth it means you're guilty. Don't generalize that a settlement means you're guilty. Do I think in this case that he is? Absolutely. But, like, don't generalize that point either, because like there are some legitimate reasons for settlements.
I got to disagree with you on sexual assaults. Every time I've seen a payoff, none of the women have ever testified in 30-some years that I've been watching this.
I know, but there was one time
they got money.
There was a
and they don't want to put up with the abuse and the disrespect that they get in public and even in their lives. So think about it. They got money. And they go, why should I go testify now, even though it's egregious what happened to me?
No, that I understand. With the Deshaun
But I
Watson
mean,
case,
that's why.
I know there was
if there wasn't money, what do you think would have happened?
I know there was a story once a few years ago where a Pitt player got in a fight and he was justified in self-defense, but the court proceedings would have stopped him from playing football for Pitt that year. So he came up with a settlement because he had the money and it wasn't worth it to drag it out in court so he could go play football. That's an example of where a settlement.
Except this is off the sexual assault, which Deshaun Watson did.
I agree with you.
We're talking the same type
We're
of
saying
thing.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't generalize settlements, but do I think Watson's guilty? Absolutely. That's that. So those are my three on my mind.
Okay, could I make a little share a fact with you? Because you dove into the statistics, right?
Yes, sir.
If I were to tell you which team hit more home runs, the San Diego Padres or the Pittsburgh Pirates, who would you say this year?
Probably the Pirates.
The Pittsburgh Pirates have hit more home runs than the Padres, and the Padres have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on their lineup. How could that possibly be?
You know the Padres are like in the wild card hunt.
Yeah, and
The Pirates are the third worst team in baseball.
How's that possible?
How is that possible? Because they're not doing.
But they're the third worst team in baseball, but they're number 18 in home runs hit for the season.
So it's 18th.
It's right here.
No, I believe you.
It's right here.
The Pirates are 18th. I believe you. I'm not denying that.
But and I agree with you. The Pirates are an absolutely awful team. The future superstar of the team, the future superstar of the team, is absolutely horrible right now.
We got a quote for the ages. I'm done. That was a quote for the ages.
No,
I'm good.
O'Neal Cruz has been god awful. The last game he played, he got a golden sombrero. Do you know what the golden sombrero
Strike
is?
out 4 times in a single game.
Four at bats.
Do you know what
he strikes out 37% of the time. All you have to do is throw him a curveball, and he flails like a rusty gate.
So if Chip put an exclamation on my point there, maybe it's not always baseball if your team's winning. Winning cures all.
Hold it. This is a special moment on Pittsburgh Sportsline. This is the first time. This is one of the few times that they've both agreed on something here on Pittsburgh.
And not even that. Chip just said
I will still
the Pirates
continue
are
to
off.
go to the Pirates.
Right.
I'm going to 3 games this weekend. Okay, I'm
You're
going
allowed
to see the
to,
Red
yeah.
Sox, the Reds, and I'm going to go watch the Braves play. And I love watching the game. I love going to PNC Park. I love the Pirates. I love the game of baseball. I'm never going to stop. I think there's a lot of things that are wrong with the Pirates right now, but this is what happens when you completely burn the house down and have to rebuild it.
But they're not in the burn stage anymore. They're in the let's start seeing some progress stage. And let me tell you, do you go to any away games?
Who's
Like, I
saying
mean,
that?
regularly go to away games.
No, because
Okay,
I don't
so
get much of a chance.
Let
to
me just
travel.
remind you all, I work at the Fan. I work the Pirates Radio Network booth. I'm in that booth for 4 hours getting intimate with what the Pirates are doing. I was working the game when Tyro Estrada hit the walk-off home run. It wasn't a fun scene, okay? So I get intimate with that team.
Sunday, you mean?
Sitting in a room with gray walls and heat, looking at a board and watching a tiny monitor with them on the television. It's a rough time.
Yeah, it was
right
it
now.
was it was rough. I watched the game as well.
Oh, did I got both of you beat. I went to see the Yankees play their second game here. What was it, last month? I stayed through the whole game. It was good the first 3 innings.
15-0.
16-0 when we were
Yeah.
done.
Look, I would have.
We stayed the whole game. You talk about a little 5x5 room was torture. I had a whole stadium, and Smoking Jim.
But you were at the stadium.
I was at the
No, I
stadium.
never.
And Smoking Jim cares nothing about baseball. He got a free Yankee hat and a $5
Hey,
jersey.
I was there the night before. Got
I
my
know.
Mazeroski
You
ball
saw
and
it all.
Saw a great game.
I didn't.
Jose
just-
Quintana pitched his butt off.
I'm just trying to say, too.
No, but I'm saying I've been tortured, and I'm like a neutral party.
But
in
at least
these-
you go get food at the stadium, maybe walk around, take
we
a
didn't
breath.
want to
Now,
spend
I
the
will tell
money.
you
We went
something.
to the Rivers
This year,
Casino.
the concessions at PNC Park are way below par. I mean, they're pathetic.
Well, I haven't
As a
been
matter
there
of fact, I started eating before I went down to the
Again, quit
ballpark.
making wings.
All right, we got to move on. Nick, are you done, or
Yeah,
can
I'm
we
done.
let
We're
Jim
good.
just babble on how he likes baseball and somebody called him Vita Blue accidentally?
Don't forget your microphone, by the way, wherever it went.
You want to hold that?
Yeah, if you're. Yeah. Okay.
Just check in with us. Can you say hi?
Check in.
Okay. Good. There's actually something wrong with him. We're going to see if we can get the paramedics to come in here and take him home. We don't know where he lives, but we're going to have him take him home. We'll leave his vehicle here, some white vehicle with a Chevy in it, but just watch out for it on our streets. But yeah, thanks for your input, Smoking Jim. Not on baseball, though.
I like my vehicle the way I like my doctors.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. I don't want the race card coming out. So we're good. But you have a black hat on. What's on my mind? Pittsburgh sports fans. Look, we got fans talking about baseball. Some love it, some hate it. We got Steeler football. And the mentality of the Steeler fans, I've been talking about 11 years on the show. We win one game, we're going to the Super Bowl. We lose a game, do what Smoking Jim says, fire Tomlin and all his coaches. And here we should have had it because he was calling all the defensive plays for all these years. Then we have a Hall of Fame quarterback, the Killer Bees. They don't win a Super Bowl. We haven't won a Super Bowl in 12 years. And now Kenny Pickett, playing against other scrubs, did 13 out of 15. I don't even watch preseason games because I just go by the reactions. So I'm a believer in the Steelers. They're going to the Super Bowl. And I had one question, and I'm going to leave it at this. How much has the offensive line improved? And we'll go on to Fiction and Fact with Smokin' Jim's Almanac. 10 seconds.
The talking machine.
Oh, you're welcome.
And part two of my main man, Chip, who's my biggest fan and my biggest critic. The question
That's the
was,
only honest thing he said tonight.
The question was last week. Oh, I got a beautiful girl just text me. The question was last week. How can you give a grade of a D to a class that had T.J. Watt in there? So I want to answer.
Hold
that
it. Before
real
you go
quickly.
on, this is a special Pittsburgh Sportsline moment. Smokin' Jim watched the show, and he's going to try to explain it, Lucy, how he come up with D and D minuses when Colbert's been complimented on his drafts.
I'm trying to win over some of Chip's family reunion folks.
It
that
won't
watch
work.
the show.
It won't work.
All right.
Go ahead, though. But it is a special moment for us. Listen
Like
closely.
Roberto Clemente always says, for me, a first-round draft choice holds the same grade as a seventh-round
Time out.
draft choice.
Time
For
out.
me, that's
Did
what
you ever meet Roberto Clemente?
Claudio told me he said that. But
Well-
I was at the game when he hit his 3,000.
So you say.
Who
we
was
have
pitching?
I don't know.
We have no documentation. Who was your catcher when you were pitching?
I told me.
Claudio.
A white guy.
No,
I
you're-
was only black on the team.
Claudio's a great man, but for you to misquote him on a first-round draft pick is so egregious, which means it's not good. It's disrespectful.
Okay.
Okay?
T.J. Watt, greatest Steeler of all time. I said that
Another
on draft
comment.
day.
We don't
Okay.
know that yet. How many years has he been in?
Well,
This is
he's
your
getting ready to
opinion.
break the Steeler record in 80 games. It took James Harrison 170.
160, yeah, 170, yeah.
Okay.
He is.
So T.J. Watt at an A. Juju, second round pick, very good. I give it a B. Some people give it a C. Some people give it an A. I give Juju a B. Cameron Sutton, a C. James Conner, another third round pick, a C. Joshua Dobbs, I got to give that a D, even though he's a rocket scientist. Now, fifth round pick, Brian Allen. Anybody remember that? An F. Colin Hoba, F. How about Keon Adams? You remember him in the seventh round?
Hall of
An
Famer.
F. So right there, that's a D minus. I was right again. Now, people say that in my opinion, the seventh round pick is very high. Barstar was a 17th round pick. Deacon Jones, 14th round out of Mississippi Valley State. Mel Blunt, third round out of Southern. How about Richard Dent, 8th round out of Tennessee State. Shannon Sharp, 7th round out of Savannah. Don't forget, black colleges don't get scouted anymore. 2 years ago, there wasn't one black player selected in the NFL draft, so somebody can get some still good
Wait a
players
minute,
in.
There wasn't one black player.
Not one player selected from a traditional black college.
Okay,
2
because
years
you
ago.
said a black player, and I'm like, hello, is anybody in there?
90%.
My high cheekbones.
Uh-huh. You get a little bit, pay attention what's coming out of your mouth.
Raymond Berry.
Hold it. Let's see a close-up on his cheeks.
Raymond Berry was a 20th round pick.
No.
Andre Reed, 4th round out
You
of
can do it.
Kutztown.
Yeah, he's talking. Do a close-up
To
on
answer
his head.
Chip's question, here we go. Bart Starr, 17th round. Johnny Unitas, 9th round. You said they had to be a top 20 pick. Terrell Davis, 6th round. And don't forget Tom Brady, 6th round. Antonio Brown, 6th round pick. High picks again. When the Steelers release in the newspaper 5 years later to evaluate the draft, all you guys agree with me that it was a D. I'm just ahead of the curve because I evaluated on draft day, and I'm sure you all agreed that it was a D or D minus grade.
I got a
question.
And here's the flaw I have with that theory. You grade the draft 5 years down the road. Well, 5 years down the road, there's probably only one person from that draft that's left playing football because the average football career is 3 years. Okay,
Well,
so
I
so
gotta
if you
go.
would have graded like that, then that draft with T.J. Watt should have been an A because he's the only one that's left.
Well, Smoking Jim, I got to go back with you. How many first-round quarterbacks ended up starting during the length of your draft, which was 50 years?
Huh?
How many first-round quarterbacks
Terry Bradshaw,
made?
Big Ben.
Okay, that's two in
Terry
50
Bradshaw,
years.
Big Ben.
And how many
That's
number
two.
one or number two
That's
draft
two
picks
in 50 years.
failed?
Art Malone didn't.
You didn't answer the question. In 50 years,
Yeah.
how many first-round quarterbacks, I'm saying the whole first round, started and become Hall of
You mean
Famers?
for the Steelers?
No, for anybody.
Oh, I don't know that.
Well,
research.
that's why your statements don't mean much to us.
I see. I don't know. I understand that.
But
Yeah, well, here, let me
let's just think
simple.
about the number one or number two draft picks that were absolute failures. Can I give you a couple examples?
Yes.
Johnny Manziel,
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, complete failures at franchise
Browns.
quarterback.
Also Browns,
They're taking
they're
number
cursed.
one and number two.
Can I just say one thing?
Give me
No,
another
you said too
Yeah,
much.
give me
I'll just
another
say this
team.
and I'll end it here. Did I say, now when I say stuff on draft day, did I say on draft day Devin Bush would be a bust, Jarvis Too Slow Jones would be a bust, Artie Burns would be a bust. That's on draft day. Give me a little bit of credit.
No, yeah, I
the
will
black
give you
man a
that.
little
Will,
bit of
I'll give you
credit.
Will.
We also
Not just
said
for
Pickett would
my
get
walk.
drafted.
I have not.
How about for my
Wait,
swag?
I am not yet convinced that Devin Bush is a complete
you're the
bust.
only one.
He suffered a catastrophic
last
knee
white
injury.
hope.
Well, you know what? I'm
at
going to
him
let him
pulling the
play out
race
this
card
year
out
to
left and
determine
right.
whether or not
Did
I
you
feel
see
he's a
him run
bust.
away from that tackle on
Yeah.
Saturday night?
You see everybody else who ran away from tackles on Saturday night?
But he's
they
the
don't
one-
want to get hurt in the preseason.
In fairness, the middle linebacker is the one that's going to hit, and I would know that because I was one, and I didn't hit very well, so runs got away from us
Yeah.
on JV Keystone Oaks football.
I'm glad we settled nothing on this, and the logic behind
I split the white vote.
No, that's a disclaimer. These are his own opinions. Over 50 years of draft picks that he gave less than 20 examples. How many thousands were picked? So you're the cherry picker king of draft picks, and you're so disrespectful. This isn't funny of Roberto Clemente.
That's what Claudio said.
Not
He said
about
for
the
me.
first round draft picks.
That's what his saying was for
No,
me.
you made it that it's about first round draft
I
picks.
didn't mean that.
Well, then you're so wrong.
He didn't mean it.
I know. Well, he said it. Just pull the tape back.
I'm sorry.
I'm so
Okay, Deshaun.
Smoking Jim. I'm so outraged. I'm so outraged by this. I can't accept your apology. I don't accept it. We're gonna move
We
on.
went off the tracks here. Hey, you know what? And as far as
Ian.
trivia time this week, I don't have anything prepared. Let's go right to the VIP.
Whoa! Go to VIP graphics in 10 seconds. Ignore what Smoking Jim said. Wow.
Let's talk about sports.
Hold
okay.
it.
Let's
Can you check with Smoking?
No, I don't need to. We're just going to keep going. All right, so Vince Scully passed away a couple weeks ago, and I was saddened by that. And I'm a sports announcer.
Legendary.
I want to be a baseball announcer, so, like, that kind of hurt. I didn't necessarily want to break the news because it happened Tuesday night, like, after the show. So, like, whoops, it's not really all that big news anymore. But,
Ghost.
like, yeah, I see the ghost. But I did want to talk about something because I've been listening to announcers, like, constantly as it relates to my job. So I figured out something that might be hurting baseball subtly that nobody thinks about, but that has to do with announcers and maybe a slight tweak, and announcers could maybe help things get a little better. So usually I hear when a pop-up gets hit or there's a routine play, a lot of the times the announcers they call the play like it's inevitable that something's going to happen. And here's a pop-up on the infield. There's Newman under it, and yeah, he's got it. That's out number one. Something like that. So, like, I think that when you call that, especially when you're on radio and you're not watching and you're listening, there's no suspense in that. Because while the odds are that a player's going to drop a ball at this level, they're not guaranteed. It takes all the suspense out of it. When you call a routine play like it's inevitably going to be an out, I think you'll lose a lot of people because, like, there's nothing exciting to look forward to. Could he drop the ball? And then the times where the players actually do drop the ball, the announcers has to, like, pick it up and, like, you know, then he gets excited after the drop happens, or, like, maybe he'll call the out before it's recorded, and then you know, then they got to readjust because, you know, the play didn't turn into an out. So that's just something little, and Vince Scully did a good job of, like, keeping the suspense going, and his old-timey style really kind of allowed the classicness of baseball and, like, his ability to call the play. His ability to do both those things kind of made him who he was, and I think that that's awesome. I think that more announcers kind of have to embody just like that idea where, like, everything's suspenseful. You're not an announcer trying to predict the future. You're not an announcer trying to, you know, list stats about people. Your job is to tell a story, and your job is to tell the story in the moment and give information to people that they wouldn't otherwise have while they're consuming the game. So for me, that's what I strive to do as an announcer, is just keep giving facts in the moment because I don't know what's going to happen. And I think it would benefit baseball a lot amongst any other sport because baseball is very stop and go. I think it would benefit announcers greatly, productions greatly. I think it would benefit the sport greatly if announcers would just take the time to, like, call the play, give the facts, do a little more to tell a story. And again, sometimes there isn't a story, and I get that that's hard too. 162 games is a long season, so maybe the storytelling's a little hard, especially with the Pirates. But like at the same time, when you're calling a play, call the play. Don't see as inevitable. Don't get too bored with everything, because that's the job of the announcer, is to keep things rolling, keep things moving, and make sure to call it as it happens, not as it should happen, if that makes sense. So
it does. And you know what? One of the things that baseball, the older time announcers, and Vin Scully is a perfect example, one of the greatest of all time. Before there was a visual medium that you could witness baseball in.
You mean televisions haven't existed forever?
They had to paint the picture. Most people's exposure to baseball was over the radio. So he had to take and put you there in the stands. And that's how he became such a great storyteller. And I think that's lost on a lot of announcers now because we rely on the visuals so much. But I listen to a lot of baseball games on the radio.
Have you heard me announce before?
I have not, and I would like to.
Man.
I have not. I have not, and I would like to. Okay.
Dang.
In all seriousness, but I mean, I listen to a lot of baseball games on the radio because I'm on the road a lot, and Greg Brown is great. I love what Greg Brown does. I'll tell you who puts me to sleep is Kevin Young. Neil Walker is doing a nice job, but what's his name? The Fort, Michael McHenry.
Yeah.
Oh boy, he's kind of tough to take, and Kevin Young, it's like he's got absolutely no enthusiasm. He is so monotone and deadpan. It's like, dude, we're watching, guys hitting a triple, guys are circling to it. Okay, and he's rounded first, and and he's on his way to second, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is.
Well, Kevin Young is doing play-by-play. I can't blame the color analysts.
Well, you're in a club.
Right. What do you mean?
You're in a club of announcers.
Yeah, but you bring on former athletes to be able to give insight into things that you wouldn't normally have insight to. I'm play-by-play. I give the facts. I don't try to guess what the.
Well, then you're different than him.
Yes. So
we understand
former athletes are former athletes. Yeah.
I want to thank you for your tribute to Vin Scully, because I enjoyed listening to him over the years. So it was really cool. But we're running out of time, so we're going to go to On Location, and we may end the show with it. So if we can get those graphics in 10 seconds, I'll be ready.
With Einstein.
Right. Look at that.
You see the shirt I gave
On Location. Well, before that, Chief said, why does Rose, Bonds, and Watson have so much talent but are creeps? Tony from Chick-fil-A, who Smokin' Jim calls Anthony, he never met him. He goes, did Smokin' Jim lose a bet? Yes. He was in the hospital for a week. If he has a steady $250 bet every day, he lost all of it. He didn't make it, as he continues to wear the same Yankee hat.
I support it.
Jim Ellenbogen, he's one of our sharp fans. Sadly, the Pirates' business model is about making money, not winning. Well, we've seen that just lately, so I'll do that. On Location, we got boxing coming up on the 27th. We got boxing coming up on September 4th. On the 27th, Michael Manna wants us to promote his boxing gym, and it is Northside Gym where Smokin' Jim was there. So the 27th at 2 o'clock in Northside. I know they call it North Shore, but I still call it Northside. So we'll be there for Michael Manna. At 11:30, I got to be at the Lamont for Celebrate and Share with Joanne Forrester, a great luncheon and stuff there. September 4th, we'll be doing boxing at Biondi Lincoln, so it'll be near Smokin' Jim, so he should be there. September 24th, we should do it. And we're running close to being out of time right now, so I'm not sure what's on the timer. If somebody wants to check with Anthony.
We're out of time.
We out of time?
We're out of time.
All right. I went past the 59-minute mark. Stay Joey strong.